Okay, so this is going to be the coronavirus update for the 9th of October 2020, where we now have 36 million confirmed cases in the world and somewhat over a million people have sadly died from this. And I'm going to call it now. This is wave number 3. And this one will kill the most people. Now, bear in mind that back here, when we were, this is arguably wave 1. This was just when it was in China. And it looked like they'd contained it for a bit. And you had it spread to a load of other countries like South Korea, who were extremely hawkish in shutting it down early. And then, of course, it went to other countries like Europe, through Italy, and on to America, where no one really wanted to do anything because these are politicians who aren't used to making these sort of big decisions, and it requires them doing something based on a relatively small amount of data that will have a large impact on people's lives, making contact tracing, things that people aren't used to. These are things they did in places like South Korea, and they shut it down early. This is in part because they had had some pandemics a decade or so ago, or over the last decade, proto-pandemics, as it were, and they cut their teeth in learning how to shut them down then. This really wasn't the way it happened with the UK and America. There, it was much more, the politicians didn't want to do anything because, look, what's in it for them? If they succeed here, then they ask people to do things that makes them very unpopular, and no one dies. So they just look like they're idiots because no one died. So no one did a lot, and it's only really once you get to the point where they're digging mass graves outside New York that people start to say, this is kind of serious. And this was basically wave number 2 here. And then it subsides over large places in Europe. Yeah, it gets under control, like Italy, where there was one of the first really big outbreaks. Yeah, they got it under control. It took, a few months. It took them a few months, but it got it under control. And of course, then the complacency kicks in that, well, why are we still doing all this quarantine stuff? There's not been any virus here for a couple of months now. So why are we still doing all this, all these safety precautions? To which the answer is because of this. And this is, my reckoning is this is going to be the winter wave. And the reason it's going to be probably a lot more nasty isn't so much because the coronavirus is any more nasty, but it's because you'll get a synergy between that and the common flu. There is nothing to stop you from getting infected with 2 viruses at the same time. And if one of those viruses has a 1% chance of killing you, you get 2 viruses at the same time, you can maybe make it, 5 times more deadly. Something like that. But at the moment, it's really not quite there everywhere in the world. Europe all looks the same at the moment. They're all going boom. Now, there is some interesting stuff going on here, right? So this was the first wave. Then there was a summer of relative happiness. Then it went boom. I want to stress that, it's probably not the summer that was killing it off here. In that if you took a look at where the virus spread throughout the rest of the world, it spread in equatorial countries. So it's unlikely that it's the warmth of summer that is doing this. And then it ramps up. UK is looking very bad. UK is going boom, and then some, and Spain, and so forth. Now, the glimmer of hope in all of this is if you actually take a look at these countries. So this is the UK. These are the daily cases. Daily cases are, of course, going boom. This is their previous maximum. This is what they're like now. But we can take a look at the deaths per day. and the deaths per day went boom, and the deaths aren't really going boom at the moment. Now, and this is sort of true of the UK, of Germany and France, so all of the Eastern European countries, which is an interesting observation. So I've seen videos saying, anyone who comes up with a very simple explanation to all of this is probably wrong. Right? These are complex, multi-parameter problems. But his explanation for all of this is, well, we just do loads more testing, so we found loads more cases, and the reason you don't get any more fatalities is because you're just ramping up the detection rate. Right, so now comes the downside. You take a look at the Slavic countries. So by Slavic countries, I mean all this lot over here. So you're looking at the Russia, Poland, Czechia, and all that sort of thing. So if we start off with Poland, their cases are going boom, and their deaths are also really picking up. Or Russia. It's less pronounced, but their cases are going up, and showing no signs of slowing down. And this is going to go up as well. And then you take a look at places like the Czech Republic, where the cases are going boom, and the deaths are also going boom. So tricky. So maybe some subtlety of genetics, maybe something simpler like I'm not sure. But so the entire of Europe is going up at the moment. So if we take a look at the entire world cases at the moment, which should come up in a second. Okay, there we go. That's the total world cases. That's going to go over to America. Don't do that. So this was wave 1. I want the total world cases. Right, give me the graph of total world cases. When it does actually refresh total world cases, right, this was the outbreak in China. This is where it spread to Europe and America. This was it spreading to India, Brazil, and all that sort of crap. And I'm going to put my money now that this is the start of the winter wave. So all of this rise here at the moment is basically Europe. This is real, right? This isn't some sort of delusion thing. This is all the cases in Europe spiking. Now, America, oddly enough, isn't actually spiking at the moment. But, well, I'll bet you it does. Right? So my reckoning is this is going to go up like crazy. The thing is that no one at the moment wants to bite the bullet and say, yeah, we're going to have to do something about this. Because everyone's just tired of lockdowns and all that sort of thing. But the simple reality is there are no real other options to contain the virus. If people can't, follow the simple hygiene procedures, then social distancing is the only other thing that you've got left. Arguably, if people just washed their hands and didn't touch stuff, you could stop an awful lot of the spread of the virus. Masks too. But if what can the government actually do in terms of legislation? Well, they can tell people not to go out on the streets and all that sort of thing. It's a blunt tool, but it's basically the only thing left. My reckoning is based on what's happening in Europe, I don't see why America should be any different. So the other bizarre thing is, though, that with America, it's never really dipped down like it did in Europe. I mean, with Europe, these all went down to, 1/10 of the value for summer. In America, it never did that. So, and no, maybe significant. By the way, it looks like America will keep its crown as the most infected country in the world for the simple reason that India, who for a long time looked like they were going to catch America, started going down again. So they're now actually getting comparable number of new cases, 70,000 per day, versus the American, what are they at? 40, let's call it 50. So, I mean, but it's going to take you 2 months to, month. It'll take you a month to catch up to America at that speed. And that's assuming that everyone stays at their current levels. Incidentally, also in America, you had Trump triumphantly returning from defeating the coronavirus, which was always kind of the expected outcome. Of the people who get the coronavirus, it's got a 1 or 2% mortality rate, which means that 98 to 99 out of 100 who get it get better. Even in Trump's high risk category, 9 out of 10 are expected to get better. So this means that if you were to give people a random therapy, scratch your left buttock and that is the treatment for the coronavirus. This means that it would 9 out of 10 people who did that would actually get better. Right? That is the baseline, is 9 out of 10 in Trump's sort of category would get better. And this is why seeing him going around saying that I took a medicine and I got better, therefore this will work for everyone. This is why medical trials aren't done with a statistical sample of 1. Because you can come up with all sorts of obviously dumb conclusions like, scratching your left buttock cures everything. Anyway, so my reckoning is this is going to be the winter wave. Come on, give me it for the rest of the world. I want the rest of the world. It's kicking off in Europe, and it's difficult to see that if it wasn't contained in Europe, why it should be in America, because America seems to have a lot more people intent on saying things like the virus doesn't exist and all that sort of thing. Well, it's got to be said, we get a lot of it in Europe now, an awful lot of it in Europe, which basically really does make it difficult to contain a contagious disease. Anyway, okay, so I'll leave it at that. I reckon it's going to get bad in the next 2 months, but we will see. So I wish you stay safe, keep your hands clean, and good luck.